Namaskar. In my last video about food, we were talking about food. I talked in great detail about what is the role of insulin in our digestive system. And we saw that the moment insulin gets introduced in the system, our body becomes a little less rigorous almost. Like it kind of goes on this easy to digest or easy to assimilate route instead of the harder way, which is the better way, which is burning fat cells and burning stored reserves of the body. Today, we are going to talk a little bit about what is fasting and how does that help us in spiritual elevation. What is the role of fasting and higher consciousness? Almost. So here's the thing. We have three kinds of consciousness. The body consciousness, where we look at our body. Mind consciousness, where we have dreams and aspirations. And soul consciousness, or what we call universal consciousness, right? The part of us which is connected to the fabric of the universe, which is almost unattainable. Like you don't have consciousness of that. You don't even know it exists. In very few moments and fleeting moments of grief or achievement or restraint are you able to experience this soul consciousness. Mostly this is almost asleep for most people. It's not there. So body consciousness is where your body exerts its presence on you, and you are motivated to do things because of your body, right? Now, when you think about food, you eat. When you're eating, your body is making you eat. Most times, your body is making you eat, or rather, for idyllic times, your body should make you eat. Now, when we look at it in perspective of our previous discussion about insulin, etc., what happens is as the body finishes up working on whatever it is that you have fed it, and it's introduced insulin, and it starts to burn that food, this process takes over about 6, 7 hours, 8 hours. Insulin remains in our system. And as this food starts to disintegrate and move away into various cells and positions, your body, as the role of insulin starts to recede, your body starts feeling hungry again. Insulin drives hunger, or rather, as soon as insulin finishes its work, it starts driving hunger. So most of us end up feeling a little bit hungry, wanting something every 2 or 3 hours because insulin has stopped being produced, and now your body is craving more insulin because it's an easier process. So it starts to feel hunger. Most of us experience our bodies like that. That means we are forced to do things, or we are forced to feed ourselves because we are being driven by what our body is telling us. Feed yourself. We are looking for food. You have to put something in your mouth because we are running out of insulin now. Sometimes we are able to exert a little bit of discipline, a little bit of control, and we call it self-control. And the self-control mostly comes from your mind, this mind space where you say, okay, I have 5 hours to go and I will eat after 5 hours. Yeah. This kind of control is exerted by the mind, and it has a time frame. It has a reason. And these are the good aspects of mind consciousness. And sometimes what happens? You're sitting down, you're engaged in a movie, and your mind tells you, wouldn't it be nice to have a popcorn? Wouldn't it be nice to have a bag of chips? Like, you just, the mind is engaged in something else. We don't want the body to go anywhere else. So therefore, why not engage it? Mind tells you to engage the body so that it doesn't disturb you. Put something in your mouth. Normal people experience it. Like, yeah, you're sitting down for a movie, you want to munch on something. You're sitting in front of the television watching news, you want to munch on something. Wherever you're passive, where your mind is engaged in something else, your mind tells you, listen, your body is going to do some nonsense for you, so you might as well engage it with food, right? So that it gets busy in producing insulin and starting digestion, and you can have a passive time and the mind can expand, right? So this is mind consciousness. It has a positive and negative. You can control your body through your mind, and sometimes your mind negatively controls your body. Right? You can control it, or your mind sometimes negatively controls it. So when you're going on a binge, when you're telling yourself, oh, you can eat, it doesn't matter, tomorrow is another day, your body is not telling you to eat, your mind is telling you to eat, right? So there is a space of body, and then there is this indulgence of mind. And if you really think of it, when you crave something, I'm craving ice cream, is it a bodily craving? No, it is a mental craving. You can almost feel the taste of ice cream in your head. Or I want to have a certain kind of burger, or I want to have a certain kind of meat, or I want to have a certain kind of vegetable, a certain kind of fruit, whatever it is that you're imagining. If you have a very well developed mind, you can actually almost taste it in your head. You don't even need to put it in your body. You can taste it in your head. Most people don't think about all of this. And you don't think about this because all of this is running on autopilot. Body is wanting food, you feed it. Mind is wanting food, you feed the body. Mind is wanting to eat more, you feed the body, right? And we end up with a lot of diseases, and obviously no self-control, really a poor physiology, and a very difficult, distraught mental space also. These people are not very healthy mentally. Here's where fasting comes in, right? As a tool to control your mind. Mostly, if you leave your mind to run amok, it's going to tell your body to do crazy things. You're sitting idle, what are you going to do? You're going to eat, you're going to do something silly, you're going to whatever. So if you start fasting, it is a very beautiful way of controlling your body. Of course, you're not putting any food in your mouth, so you're controlling your body. When hunger comes, you try to quell it. And also your mind, this negative tendency or this ability of the mind to exert on the body is great. It's amazing. It's unbelievable. If the mind can exert on the body so much, why not use it positively, right? If I use it positively, then I will stay away from food. Aside from all the physiological benefits of staying away from food that we talked about, where if you stay away from food beyond 9-10 hours, you actually start burning your fat cells. Besides all of those benefits, the biggest benefit that you get is you start training your mind to doing something positive, not regressing and becoming, almost an indulgent partner in your crime. Your mind is an indulgent partner in your physical crime of gluttony. or eating. Instead of that, you're training it to be your general. Your mind is now your general. Your mind is going to tell you not to do it because it's not time yet, because it's not the right thing to do, because you're counting calories or whatever it is that you're doing. So fasting is a great way to get your mind to beautifully engage in controlling your desires, because only 10% of those desires are physical, 90% were mental. So if you are able to fast, you're able to basically train your mind to control your desires. So you become a person who is devoid of desires, which is so beautiful. Imagine from the spiritual point of view, you're striving towards contentment, you're striving towards being without or devoid desires, because those are distractions. You suddenly start experiencing the strength of your mind. And then after a point, very further up in this process, so you continue to fast. You can use your mind to fast up to a certain point, because the mind will give you reasons after that point is reached. I'm going to eat no food because it is a special day today. It's like Karwa Chauth. I'm not going to eat any food today. Right up to moonrise. Okay. Perfect. You're not going to eat any food, and mind is telling you at moonrise you're going to eat. In the evening you're going to have your one meal. So mind can only take you so far. What happens if you continue to fast beyond whatever it is that you're fasting? Maybe you're just doing a water fast, or you're doing a dry fast, or you're doing some kind of fast, maybe no salt or just liquids. Whatever kind of fast you're doing, it has a certain limit with your mind. What happens if we take it beyond that limit? What clicks in, or what kicks in, is your consciousness. You suddenly find there is something which is even more powerful than your mind. Your mind is a distraction, and there is something which is capable of keeping you running, capable of you doing things, even when your mind says no, and even when your body says, no, I can't do it. You can still do things. This is a very brief, very little glimpse into your soul, which is usually in normal age and day. It is not accessible. You don't even feel it. Where does soul make itself present? No presence of soul is felt. So this is where the soul actually comes to be like 3 days of water fast, or 4 days of water fast, 40 days of water fast. What do you think is doing it? Mind? No. Anybody who's gone on an extended fast would relate to you some kind of a spiritual awakening. People just have this clarity, or there is an understanding of themselves that they find, even in the West. Like, this is more popular in the West these days. And you hear video after video, people's commentaries again and again. They're saying when they go on extended fasts, they somehow come out of it a little bit better. They come out understanding who they are a little bit better. This is not a new concept. Didn't happen yesterday. Even though the Nobel Prize was given in 2016, this didn't happen yesterday. This is the prescribed practice of all religions. Not only the oldest religion of Hinduism, but all religions have prescribed this practice. And Hinduism is the most advanced, right? The Sanatan Vedic practice of fasting is the most advanced practice of fasting that we have. But a 40-day fast or a 30-day fast is like a Lent or a Ramazan. They do it every year. It's not something which is unheard of. People do it. They used to do it better earlier. Nowadays, because it's all indulgence driven, they do it with a lot of convenience. It's not done in the way it was conceptualized. It should be done. And the idea was to get to know your soul better. Right? On a karmic level, what happens is that you have the ability to, you have the resources to, but you're refraining. So it's almost like you're saving up good karma. If you don't eat on a daily basis, if you are just not eating, and eating gives you so much gratification, you look forward to your meal every day. If you're not eating, you're not using up that crucial good karma. It's like not breathing for half a day. You save that much good karma. So it actually creates almost a reservoir of good karma the moment you come out of fasting, because you have this, you know, a whole chunk that you would have used otherwise. So it has many, many merits. It is very good as a practice of meditation. It is very good as a practice of understanding where you're coming from. It is a very good practice in terms of realizing and understanding the separation of mind, body, and soul, and also strengthening that soul over the strength of your mind. Your mind is very strong, and you need to strengthen your soul beyond that. So, very beautiful practice. In fact, in any Vedic or old traditional practice, they will tell you eat little. Eat, don't overeat, don't indulge in whether you're doing yoga or you're doing a very kriya or anything which is very, very physical also. Eat moderately. Eat little, moderately. Don't indulge just because you've worked out so much doesn't mean you're going to go and have a protein shake. Right? Because the practice or physical practice of yoga will get you to have more awareness of your body. And with this heightened state of mind and soul, you will be able to control your bodily functions. If you do it as a physical exercise and then you go and gorge yourself, you're not getting any understanding of what yoga is all about. It is a workout. Yoga is about being able to control your internal organs with your mind or with your soul, with just your intent. Control your breath, control your heartbeat, control your temperature. You can't do that when you're indulging so much in food, because then everything is distracted. There is no clarity. So, moderate food is an advice that is given by our ancient masters when they're talking about um, even practicing physical exercises like yoga and obviously meditation and then silence, right? Don't even consume words, just silence. So, not only does fasting have immense benefits in in the physical sense of things, in the physical realm of things, but has immense benefits if you are a spiritual aspirant, if you are a seeker of any kind, if you want to understand yourself beyond the bodily self that you have. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about the way food was structured in the Vedic system in the Vedic times. And also, I'm going to talk about something which has been scientifically fasting, that how fasting has been scientifically proven to be a good thing in the last 2-3 years. It's actually been proven. We come from a generation which was told that you should eat small meals every day. Breakfast is very important. And then we, in between, saw this whole age of, oh my God, don't have fatty foods because fats are really, really bad. And then we came to the stage of keto diets where everybody should only have fats because fats are really, really good. And now we're coming to this space where they're starting to acknowledge fasting. And I'm not even going into what you should have and what you shouldn't have in terms of vegetarian or non-vegetarian. I'm just talking about food in general. Should you have or should you not have? So in my next video, I'm going to talk a little bit about what that scientific proof has been over the last few years And I'm also going to talk about what the ancient traditional Vedic system for eating was. And, today scientists are experimenting with food groups and this and that, and I'll just lay it out for them. It's very easy. We know this for 5,000 years, only we sometimes fail to practice our own knowledge. And I hope with these videos, you would be able to at least skip one meal, one meal. It's not such a big thing. It's going to give you a lot of benefits. I don't feel bad prescribing it. And, you know, just hoping and praying we can all reach this higher conscious level together. Thanks very much. And I'll post the other video about Vedic system of eating and fasting very soon. That's part 3 of this series of food. Please keep listening. Namaste.